chocolate should not be this powerful. It starts as a seed growing on tropical cacao trees, and somehow, humans transformed it into comfort, celebration, luxury, romance, reward. Entire childhood memories are attached to specific chocolate bars. Entire industries were built around making chocolate irresistible. And the strangest part? Most people think chocolate is just chocolate. Dark, milk, white, maybe mint, maybe orange. But every chocolate style tells a different story. Different ingredients, different textures, different flavors, different emotional experiences. Some chocolates are built around intensity, some around comfort. Some became controversial, and one type sparked decades of debate over whether it should even be considered chocolate. Today we're breaking down the major chocolate styles most people encounter, how they're made, why they taste different, and why certain chocolates create completely different experiences. Because chocolate isn't just food, it's chemistry, psychology, culture, memory, sometimes all at once. And the deeper you look into chocolate, the more fascinating the story becomes. Dark chocolate is the closest most people will ever get to tasting cacao itself. Less sugar, less milk, more cacao, which means the flavor of the bean becomes the focus. Long before chocolate bars existed, civilizations such as the Maya and later the Aztecs prepared beverages made from cacao beans. These drinks were often bitter, sometimes ceremonial, and cacao beans were valuable enough to be used as currency in parts of Mesoamerica. To them, cacao wasn't candy, it was a meaningful cultural product. Modern dark chocolate still carries traces of that history, because the higher the cocoa percentage, the more you taste the cacao itself. And cacao is surprisingly complex, depending on variety, origin, fermentation, and roasting. Dark chocolate can develop notes that remind people of fruit, coffee, smoke, nuts, or even wine. Then there's ultra-dark chocolate, 90%, 95%, 99%. At that point, you're not eating candy anymore. You're negotiating directly with the cacao bean, and yet many people love it, because bitterness often feels complex. Coffee, wine, whiskey, dark chocolate. The human brain frequently associates challenging flavors with sophistication. Then milk chocolate changed everything, because dark chocolate was never going to become the world's most popular chocolate on its own. Too bitter, too intense. During the 19th century, European chocolate makers, especially in Switzerland, helped popularize milk chocolate by combining chocolate with milk ingredients. And suddenly, chocolate became softer, sweeter, creamier, more approachable. Milk chocolate doesn't challenge you, it welcomes you. That's why it became the chocolate most people grew up with. Birthday parties, holiday gifts, Halloween candy, family traditions. Milk chocolate became part of everyday life. And scientifically, it delivers an experience many people find extremely rewarding. Sugar activates reward pathways. Fat creates creaminess. Milk ingredients soften bitterness. And cocoa butter in well-made chocolate melts close to body temperature, which helps create the smooth texture people immediately recognize. Human civilization built skyscrapers, crossed oceans, reached the moon, and still ends with someone quietly eating chocolate at 1 in the morning. Then chocolate makers discovered something important. Texture changes the experience. Hazelnut chocolate became famous because roasted hazelnuts naturally develop rich, buttery aromas that pair extremely well with cacao. The result feels smooth, warm, luxurious. Almond chocolate works differently. Cleaner flavor, sharper crunch, more roasted character, less richness, more structure. And the crunch itself matters, because flavor isn't only taste, it's also sound. Part of what makes nut chocolate satisfying is hearing it break. Your brain interprets that crunch as freshness and quality. Now we arrive at the most controversial chocolate style, white chocolate. Because unlike dark or milk chocolate, white chocolate contains no cocoa solids, no dark cacao particles, no bitterness, no brown color. Instead, it's made primarily from cocoa butter, milk ingredients, and sugar, which led to a surprisingly persistent question. Is white chocolate actually chocolate? The debate became so widespread that food regulations eventually established official standards. In countries such as the United States, white chocolate must contain specific amounts of cocoa butter and milk ingredients to legally qualify as white chocolate. But here's what most people miss. Good white chocolate is difficult to make well. Dark chocolate can hide flaws behind strong cocoa flavors. White chocolate cannot. Every flaw becomes obvious. Cheap white chocolate often tastes waxy or overly sweet. High-quality white chocolate can develop flavors that remind people of vanilla cream, butter, or caramelized milk. That's one reason pastry chefs enjoy working with it. White chocolate acts almost like a blank canvas. It pairs beautifully with fruits, tea, coffee, spices, and nuts. Pistachio chocolate feels luxurious before you even taste it, partly because pistachios are naturally rich and buttery, but also because they're visually striking. That bright green color against chocolate creates immediate contrast, which helps explain why pistachio desserts became highly visible across social media food content. And unlike many nut-based desserts, pistachio chocolate often feels balanced. Less sweetness, more richness, more elegance. It's one reason pistachio became a favorite ingredient in premium desserts around the world. Orange chocolate works because contrast creates excitement. Chocolate is rich, orange is bright. Chocolate feels heavy, orange feels energetic. The aromatic oils from citrus create a refreshing contrast against chocolate's richness. That's why orange chocolate often feels lighter than it actually is. The combination feels unexpected, yet surprisingly natural. A reminder that opposites sometimes work better together than anyone expects. Mint chocolate might be the most divisive chocolate style ever created, because mint creates a fascinating illusion. Menthol activates cold-sensitive receptors in the body, creating a cooling sensation even when the actual temperature doesn't change very much. So mint chocolate creates two experiences simultaneously: freshness and richness. Some people love that contrast, others can't stand it. There is rarely any middle ground, and that's what makes flavors so fascinating. Taste isn't entirely objective. Memory influences flavor. Expectation influences flavor. Sometimes your brain begins evaluating food before your tongue does. Coconut chocolate feels different from everything else on this list. Softer, slower, more relaxed. Because coconut changes texture completely. It adds chewiness, a longer finish, a different rhythm to eating, and somehow coconut often feels tropical, even if you're eating it in the middle of winter. Chocolate is one of the world's most widely consumed sweet foods, and its appeal goes far beyond flavor alone. People associate chocolate with comfort, celebration, reward, tradition, memory. Every chocolate style tells a different story. Dark chocolate tells a story of intensity. Milk chocolate tells a story of comfort. White chocolate tells a story of controversy. Mint tells a story of perception. Orange tells a story of contrast. Pistachio tells a story of luxury. Coconut tells a story of escape. And all of them begin the same way, with cacao, a tropical crop used by humans for thousands of years. Maybe that's what makes chocolate so fascinating. Humans took something naturally bitter and transformed it into one of the world's most beloved flavors. So now I want to know, what's the greatest chocolate ever invented? Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, mint, orange, pistachio?